Hello and welcome back to the Mastermind channel with your host, Mr. McFarlane. Today we are talking about literal equations. This is Algebra 1, Chapter 2, Section 8. Write yourself down. Literal equation is an equation involving two or more variables. So far, if we look at equations and we're solving them, this is a two-step equation here. Remember, we circle the variable term and get rid of what's outside of that. So we subtract 7 from each side, cancel out the 7, then we're left with 3y is equal to 9. Next step, divide by 3 on each side, and you are left with y equals 3. Now, you might be presented with an equation like this. Looks just like the one we had, except now we have three variables. Call this a literal equation. We're still solving for y. Okay, that's what the instructions say. Solve for the variable means get the variable by itself. So I need to get rid of the x, subtract x from each side. Now, since there is no value of z minus x, I'm just going to write that expression. I'm going to write z minus x. And then I want to still get the y by itself, so I have to divide by 3 on each side. This will cancel out, and now I get y is equal to, again, there's no value here, so I can't divide that. So I'm left with z minus x over 3. This is solved because the variable that we were looking for, solving for, is by itself. Here we are solving for h, so I want to get h by itself. To get rid of a fraction, remember, multiply by its inverse, so we're going to multiply by 2 on each side, times 2. Times 2, that's going to cancel out the fraction. Then we have 2a is equal to b times h. H is now being multiplied by b, so we want to divide by b on each side. And then we get 2a over b is equal to h, or h is equal to 2a over b. Solve for w. Now there's a problem. The w is in parentheses. So the first thing we have to do is get rid of the parentheses. That's a multiplication. If there's no sign between a number and parentheses, that's a multiplication. So I'm going to divide by 2 on this side and divide by 2 on this side. That cancels out the 2. Leaves me with p over 2 is equal to L plus W. Now I want to get the W by itself. The plus goes with the W. L is positive, so subtract L from each side. Cancels out the L here, and we get p over 2 minus L is equal to W, or W is equal to p over 2 minus L. Solve for x. To solve for x, we want to get the variable term by itself first. Subtract 7 from each side. This cancels out. We get y minus 7. Since we can't actually subtract that, we just write them next to each other. If they're unlike terms, just write them next to each other. Now we have 5 times x, so we want to divide by 5 on each side. Remember, I have to divide the entire expression, not just the 7, and not just the 5, the entire expression by 5. So now I have x is equal to y minus 7 over 5. Solve for b. Now b is being multiplied by a variable and then subtracted by another variable. First thing we have to undo we go in reverse order of operations, so the first thing I have to undo is a subtraction. So plus d on each side. This cancels out. Now I have AB is equal to C plus D. And then if I'm solving for B, I divide by A. If I was solving for A, I'd have to divide by B here. Okay, divide by A. This cancels out. B is equal to C plus D over A. One more, because we're having so much fun. We're in a fraction here. Remember, to get rid of a fraction, multiply by the denominator. So times s on each side, that cancels out the denominator. T minus r is equal to y times s. Get t by itself. Add r to each side. Now careful here, we're adding r to the entire expression. We have negative, we have t. T on this side is equal to y times s plus r. I could put this in parentheses, but those would be redundant because multiplication has to happen before the addition anyways. And additionally to this, we're going to look at a dimensional analysis. All right, dimensional analysis is the process of carrying units through a computation, also called unit analysis. We'll just look at an example here. The average weight of the chimpanzees at a zoo is 52 kilograms. If 1 gram is approximately equal to 0.0353 ounces, use dimensional analysis to find the average weight of the chimps in pounds. And remember that 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. Okay, so if we want to go from kilograms and end up with pounds, we need to cancel out the units. Okay, and in order to cancel out a unit, it means divide by a number that has that unit. So, what happened here? All right, there we go. So if we have 52 kilograms, we're going to start with 52 kilograms over 1. All right, now we're going to have a set of fractions until we finally get pounds on top. Now I want to get rid of kilograms. My conversion that I know is 1 gram is this many ounces. So I don't know kilograms to ounces. So I've got to go kilograms to grams first. Then I know grams to ounces. So I'm going to put ounces on top. I want to cancel out the grams. So we always want to have, in order to cancel out, you need to have 1 on top, 1 on bottom. So grams, top and bottom. Then we're not going to ounces, so we want to put ounces down here and check to see what we know about ounces. We know that 1 pound is 16 ounces, so we can put pounds on top. And now we have the unit that we're going to. Okay, so kilograms will cancel out, grams will cancel out, ounces will cancel out, till I'm left with pounds. Now we have to put the conversion of each of these on there. So kilo means 1,000. So 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. Then we have grams to ounces given right here. So 1 gram is equal to 0.0353 ounces. And then what else do we know? We know 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. And now to solve this, multiply across the top. So we'll do 52 times 1,000 times 0.0353 times 1. And that comes out to 1,835.6 over 1 times 1 times 1 times 16 is 16. Now we want to check the units. Okay, kilograms and kilograms cancels out. Grams and grams cancels out. Ounces and ounces. So we're left with pounds in the numerator, which is what we want. And then go ahead and divide 1,835.6 divided by 16. And we get approximately 114.7 pounds. And that's all there is to dimensional analysis. And that was Chapter 2, Section 8, Literal Equations and Dimensional Analysis. Like and subscribe to the Mastermind channel, and see you tomorrow.